3 months ago, I moved into a small house on the edge of a Ukrainian village. It was cheap, suspiciously cheap. The previous owner had died, and the house had been empty for years. Locals didn't want it. My friend joked that it was probably haunted. I laughed. I wish I hadn't. The first few nights were normal. The house creaked like any old building. Wind whistled through the trees behind the yard. Nothing unusual. Until the fourth night. At exactly 3:33 a.m., I woke up to a sound. Knock. I thought I imagined it. Then it happened again. Knock. 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 3 slow knocks. They were coming from the front door. Half asleep, I looked at my phone. 3:33 a.m. I walked down the hallway and looked through the peephole. No one was there. Just darkness. I opened the door. The street was empty. No footsteps. No movement. Nothing. I assumed someone had been messing with me. But the next night it happened again. 3:33 a.m. Knock. 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 3 knocks. Always 3. And always at the same time. The third night, I decided not to open the door. I just listened. After the knock stopped, something strange happened. I heard footsteps. But they weren't walking away. They were walking around the house. Slowly. Like someone was circling it. The footsteps lasted almost 20 minutes. Crunching on gravel. Moving past the windows. But when I looked outside, no one was there. The next morning I checked the yard. No footprints. Nothing disturbed. That night, I set up a small camera facing the front door. I wanted proof. 3:33 a.m. arrived. The knocks came again. Knock. 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 I didn't open the door. Instead, I waited until morning and checked the recording. The video showed the door, the porch, the empty yard. Then 3:33 appeared in the corner timestamp. The knock sounded clearly on the recording. But the camera showed something impossible. The door moved slightly with every knock. From the inside. Like something inside the house was knocking out. I replayed the video 10 times. The sound was outside. But the movement was from inside. That night I didn't sleep. And at 3:33, the knocking came again. This time from behind me. Inside the house. There was a room in the house I never used. The previous owner had kept it locked. The key had been left in the drawer when I bought the place. I never opened it. Until that night. The knocking was coming from the other side of that door. 3 slow knocks. Knock. 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 Then silence. My hands were shaking when I unlocked it. The door creaked open. The room was empty. Just dust. A broken chair. And something carved into the wooden floor. A circle. Inside it were dozens of scratched lines. Like someone had been trying to count days. Hundreds of them. Then I noticed something else. Words carved into the wall. They were written in Ukrainian. But the message was simple. Do not open the door at 3:33. My heart started racing. Because that exact moment, my phone vibrated. 3:33 a.m. And from the front of the house, the knocking began again. The knocks were louder than ever. Angrier. 3 hits. Then silence. Then again. I stood frozen in the hallway. Then I heard something new. A voice. Quiet. Whispering through the door. It sounded like me. Open the door. My blood ran cold. The voice repeated. Open the door. It's me. I stepped closer. The whisper became clearer. I'm outside. I wasn't outside. I was standing in the hallway. Then the whisper changed. It became impatient. Open the door before it comes. before what comes. The knocking started again. But now it wasn't 3 knocks. It was dozens. Rapid, violent. The door started shaking. And suddenly the whisper screamed, "Don't open it!" The voice changed. It wasn't mine anymore. It sounded old. Wrong. Something slammed against the door. Hard. Then silence. I checked the time. 3:34 a.m. The knocking stopped. The next morning, I went to the village store. An old man working there asked where I lived. When I told him, his face went pale. He asked me one question. "Have you heard the knocking yet?" I didn't answer. He sighed, then told me something that made my stomach drop. The previous owner hadn't died naturally. He had been found in that locked room, sitting inside the circle carved into the floor. The door was locked from the outside, and his fingernails were broken, like he had been scratching the floor for days. Before he died, he told people one thing. Only one thing. "It comes every night at 3:33. I moved out the same day. But 3 nights ago something happened. My phone rang. 3:33 a.m. Unknown number. I answered. At first there was silence. Then I heard something. 3 knocks. Slow, deliberate, and a whisper. My voice. From the other side of the call. "Why did you leave me in the house?"
I thought leaving the house would end everything. I moved to another city. Different apartment. Different street. Different life. For 3 weeks nothing happened. No knocks. No whispers. No nightmares. I almost convinced myself that the whole thing had just been stress, imagination, maybe even paranoia. But the night of October 14th proved I was wrong. At exactly 3:33 a.m., my phone rang. Unknown number. I stared at the screen for a long time before answering. When I finally picked up, there was only silence. Then I heard it. Knock. 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 3 slow knocks. Exactly the same sound I had heard at the house. My heart started pounding. I whispered into the phone. "Hello." For several seconds there was nothing. Then I heard breathing. Heavy. Uneven. And then the voice spoke. It was my voice. "Why did you leave me there?" My blood turned cold. I hung up immediately. But the phone rang again. Same number. Same time. 3:33 a.m. This time I didn't answer. The ringing continued for almost a minute, then suddenly stopped. But the silence didn't last long. Because the next sound didn't come from the phone. It came from my apartment door. 3 slow knocks. Knock. 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 I froze in my bed. My apartment was on the 4th floor. No one visited me that late. And no one knew my address. Another 3 knocks echoed through the hallway. Knock. 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 Then the whisper came. Exactly like before. Right behind the door. Open the door. The voice sounded identical to mine. Same tone. Same breathing. Same rhythm. But something about it was wrong. It felt empty. Like the voice had been copied without understanding what it meant to be human. I slowly walked toward the door. Every step felt heavier than the last. The whisper spoke again. "You left me there." My hand touched the doorknob. Cold. Then the voice suddenly changed. It sounded scared. Terrified. Still my voice, but desperate. "Don't open the door." I stepped back immediately. My heart was racing so fast I could barely breathe. 2 voices now spoke from the hallway. Both sounded exactly like me. One whispering, "Open it." The other begging, run. Then something slammed into the door. Hard. The entire frame shook. And the whispering voice screamed in anger. You were supposed to stay in the house. Then the knocking started again. But this time, it wasn't 3 knocks. It was hundreds. The knocking stopped exactly at 3:34 a.m. Just like in the old house. I didn't sleep that night. At sunrise I checked the hallway camera in my apartment building. The footage showed something impossible. At 3:33 a.m., the knocking began. But there was no one in the hallway. The door was shaking. But the hallway was empty. Then something appeared on the video. Not a person. Not exactly. A shadow. Tall. Too tall. Standing directly in front of my door. And slowly, the shadow started forming a shape. A human shape. My shape. The recording ended at 3:34 a.m. But the worst part wasn't the video. Later that afternoon I received a text message. From the same unknown number. There was only one sentence. The door will open soon. I thought the worst was already behind me. I was wrong. For the next 4 nights nothing happened. No knocks. No phone calls. No messages. I almost began to relax. But on the 5th night, I woke up before my alarm. My room was completely dark. The digital clock on my desk blinked. 3:32 a.m. My stomach dropped. I knew what was coming. I stared at the apartment door. And then it happened. Knock. Just one. Slow. Heavy. Not 3. Just one. Then silence. My phone vibrated. A message from the unknown number. I didn't want to read it. But I did. The message said, "You waited long enough." Then the clock changed. 3:33 a.m. And the door handle slowly began to move. I didn't touch it. No one was outside. But it turned. Slowly. Carefully. Like someone trying not to make noise. The door opened a few centimeters. Cold air filled the room. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. Then I saw something standing in the hallway. At first I thought it was a shadow. But shadows don't breathe. And shadows don't step forward. It walked into my apartment. And the moment it stepped into the light, I saw its face. My face. But older. Paler. Its eyes were empty, like someone had erased the soul inside them. It smiled. But I didn't feel my mouth move. "Thank you," it said. Its voice was identical to mine. "Perfect. You finally let me out." My legs finally worked. I ran toward the window. But before I reached it, the creature spoke again. "Don't worry. You won't remember this." Then everything went black. I woke up on the floor. Sunlight filled the apartment. The door was closed. Everything looked normal. My phone showed no messages. No calls. No unknown number. Just silence. For a moment I thought the entire thing had been a nightmare. Until I walked past the mirror. And noticed something strange. My reflection smiled. But I didn't.